Welcome to Folktale Flame. Here we share real-life stories that teach meaningful lessons. He returned from abroad, but I was no longer his wife. The promise. He left me with sweet promises. But when he came back from abroad, I was no longer his wife. This is my story. My name is Anna, and once upon a time, I believed love could survive anything. I believed that waiting for the man you love was proof of loyalty. I believed that distance, no matter how far, could never break two hearts that beat as one. I was wrong. It all started 10 years ago in a small town. I was only 22 when I met David. He wasn't rich, but he had dreams bigger than the sky. He was tall, dark, and gentle with words that could melt even the hardest heart. I still remember the first day we met. I was walking back from the market carrying heavy bags when one of them tore open and my tomatoes rolled into the dusty street. People walked past, some even stepped on them, but David stopped. He bent down, gathered every tomato, and helped me carry my bag all the way home. That was how our story began. Love in simple days. David didn't have much. He worked as a mechanic's assistant, fixing old cars, earning little, but he always had a smile. I loved him because he had a good heart. We would sit under the mango tree near my house and talk about the future. "Anna," he would say, holding my hand, "one day I'll travel abroad. I'll work hard, and when I come back, I'll build us a house. You'll never lack anything. Just give me time." And I would smile, because his eyes always carried truth. "I'll wait for you, David. I don't need riches, just your love." Those days were beautiful, simple, pure. But then came the decision that changed everything. The journey abroad. One evening, David came to my father's house. He looked both excited and afraid. "Anna," he said, "I have good news. My uncle in London has agreed to sponsor me. I'll travel next month. This is my chance to build a better life for us." My heart sank. London? That was far. Too far. I tried to smile. "That's good news, David. But what about us?" He held my shoulders gently. "You are my everything. I'm not leaving you. I'll work, save money, and come back. Then we'll marry and start our family. Just wait for me." I wanted to cry, but I nodded. "I'll wait." He kissed my forehead. "I promise, Anna. I'll write to you. I'll call. Nothing will change." But life, as I would later learn, has a cruel way of breaking promises. The long wait. David traveled. I remember the day at the airport. I held his hand tightly until the last call for boarding was announced. My heart felt like it was being torn apart. "I'll come back for you," he whispered before walking away. I cried that night until my pillow was wet. At first, it wasn't so bad. He called almost every day. He would tell me about the cold weather, the long hours of work, the strange food. He missed my cooking, he said. We laughed, we dreamed, we planned. But as months turned into years, the calls became fewer. Sometimes weeks would pass without a word. I told myself he was busy, that he was working hard for us. "Anna," my mother once said, "be careful with long-distance love. A man abroad is like a bird in the sky. You never know where he will land." I shook my head. David is different. He loves me. But deep inside, doubt began to grow. The proposal that never came. By the third year, many of my friends were getting married. Invitations filled my weekends. They would smile in their white gowns, holding the hands of men who were present, men who could provide and protect. And there I was, still waiting for calls that came once in a while. One day, my childhood friend Grace said to me, "Anna, you're wasting your time. If David really loves you, he should marry you, even if he's abroad. Men abroad sometimes forget the women they left behind." Her words hurt, but I still defended him. David will never forget me. He promised. But promises don't feed the heart forever. The first sign. In David's 4th year abroad, something happened that I can never forget. I sent him a message one evening. Hours passed, no reply. The next day, nothing. After 3 days, he finally responded with only 2 words. Been busy. No, I miss you. No, how are you? Just 2 cold words. I sat on my bed staring at the screen. My hands trembled. That night, I cried myself to sleep. Days later, when he finally called, I asked, David, are we still okay? He sighed. Anna, you worry too much. I'm working day and night. Just be patient. But his voice didn't sound like the David I knew. It was colder, distant. Another man. It was around that time I met Michael. He was a teacher in my younger brother's school. Kind, always ready to help, and unlike David, he was present. Michael began to check on me often. Anna, have you eaten? Do you need anything from town? Don't stress yourself, let me help. At first, I avoided him. I told myself I was taken. But loneliness is a dangerous thing. The heart craves attention. One evening, after helping me carry water from the well, Michael looked into my eyes. Anna, you deserve someone who is here for you. Someone who won't leave you waiting. I stepped back. I'm still with David. He nodded. I know. But how long will you wait? Those words followed me into my dreams. The breaking point. Year 5 came. By then, David rarely called. Sometimes I would go 2 months without hearing from him. When he finally called, he sounded distracted, like he was rushing to end the conversation. David, I said one night, do you still love me? He was silent for a long time before answering. Anna, love is not just words. It's about sacrifice. I'm sacrificing for us. But I no longer believed. His sacrifice felt like abandonment. Then one afternoon, while scrolling through Facebook, I saw a photo that shattered me. David, smiling, holding a woman, a white woman. The caption read, "My love, my everything." I dropped my phone. My chest tightened. I couldn't breathe. He had replaced me. The choice. I cried for days. I locked myself in my room, refusing to eat. My mother begged me to move on. Anna, you can't wait forever. Life must go on. That boy has chosen another life. It was Michael who finally pulled me out of the darkness. He was patient, gentle. He never forced me, but he stayed. And slowly, I began to see him differently. One evening, as we walked under the moonlight, he said softly, Anna, let me be the man who will never leave. Let me be your home. Tears filled my eyes. My heart was still broken, but I whispered, yes. And so, I became Michael's wife. The return. 7 years after David left, I had built a new life. I had 2 children with Michael. We weren't rich, but we were happy. I had finally healed, or at least I thought I had. Until one Saturday morning. I was washing clothes outside when I heard a familiar voice. A voice I hadn't heard in years. Anna. I turned. And there he was. David, standing by the gate holding a suitcase, his eyes filled with hope. My hands froze. The basin slipped from my grip. He smiled. I told you I would come back for you. But it was too late. I was no longer his wife. Watch this video to the end and don't forget to share, like, comment, and subscribe for more interesting stories like this. From Folktale Flame. The return that changed everything. He came back with dreams of the life we once promised each other, but I was already someone else's wife. The shock. The morning David appeared at my gate, my heart almost stopped. 7 years of silence, broken only by scattered calls and a few cold words, and suddenly, there he was standing before me, suitcase in hand, smiling as if nothing had changed. Anna. His voice trembled. I'm back. I kept my promise. I froze. My children's laughter drifted from inside the house. I wanted to speak, but my tongue felt heavy. Finally, I whispered, David, why are you here? He looked confused. What do you mean? I told you I would return. I worked hard, Anna. I saved money. I came back for you." My stomach twisted. I couldn't look into his eyes. Then, like fate mocking us, little Sarah, my 5-year-old daughter, ran out of the house. "Mama, Mama! Daddy says we should go to the farm later." She stopped when she saw David. His eyes widened, his lips trembled. "Anna, who is this child?" I swallowed hard. "She's my daughter, my husband's daughter." David's smile faded. His suitcase slipped from his hand. He stepped back as if struck by lightning. "Your husband?" The weight of truth filled the air. The confrontation. That evening, Michael returned home from school. I told him David was back. His face tightened, but he remained calm. "Where is he now?" Michael asked. "At his uncle's house in town," I said softly. Michael nodded. "He will come again. And when he does, you must be strong." I could see the storm in his eyes, though his voice stayed steady. As predicted, the next day David came. He didn't knock. He simply walked into the compound, his eyes burning with questions. "Anna," he said, "tell me this is not true. Tell me you didn't marry another man while I was away." Tears filled my eyes. "David, what did you expect? You left me for 7 years. You forgot me." "I didn't forget," he shouted. "I was building a life for us. I sacrificed everything to give you a better future." "And in that sacrifice," I whispered, "you sacrificed me." Michael came out then, standing tall beside me. "David, this is my wife now, and those are my children. You left her heart empty, and I filled it. Don't blame her for choosing life over loneliness." David's fists clenched. "Stay out of this, Michael. This is between me and Anna." But I shook my head. "No, David. This is between all of us now." The past revealed. Later that week, David begged me to meet him privately. Against my better judgment, I agreed. We sat under the old mango tree where we used to dream. "Anna," he began, his voice breaking. "I know I made mistakes. I know I wasn't there, but I never stopped loving you. Everything I did was for us. Please, give me another chance." I stared at him, torn between the past and present. "If you loved me, why did you stop calling? Why did I find your pictures with another woman?" His face darkened. "She was just someone who helped me. I was lonely too, but she meant nothing. You are the one I love." I shook my head. "David, love is not only words. Love is presence. Love is care. You left me alone in the dark." His hands trembled as he reached for mine. "Anna, I came back to make things right. Don't tell me it's too late." But it was. My heart belonged to another now. The struggle within. That night I couldn't sleep. Memories of David flooded my mind. Our laughter, our promises. The first time he held my hand. Could I truly close that door forever? But then I thought of Michael, the man who held me when I cried, who stayed when David disappeared, who fathered my children with love and patience. I was trapped between yesterday and today. The battle of men. Days turned into weeks. David refused to give up. He visited often, bringing gifts, money, even toys for the children. He tried to remind me of who we once were. Michael noticed. One evening after David left, Michael sat quietly before speaking. "Anna, I will not fight him with anger, but you must choose. I can't live in a home where your heart is divided." Tears burned my eyes. "Michael, I chose you years ago. I will not go back." But fate was not done testing us. David's plea. One afternoon, David came with his mother. The old woman knelt before me, tears streaming down her face. "Anna, my son has suffered. He worked day and night abroad just to return to you. Don't throw away all those years. You were meant to be his wife." Her words pierced my soul. Michael's family had also supported me, but now David's family was pulling me back. David looked into my eyes and whispered, "Anna, I can take you and the children abroad. We can start fresh. Please." For a moment, I saw the life that could have been. Wealth, comfort, the dream we once painted under this very mango tree. But then Sarah ran into my arms. "Mama, Papa says he will take me to the farm later." And I realized my home was already built. Not in promises, but in presence. The final confrontation. The last storm came on a Sunday afternoon. David arrived again, this time furious. "Anna, you can't do this to me. You were mine first. You promised to wait." Michael stepped forward, his voice calm but firm. "David, love is not about who came first. It's about who stayed. You left her heart empty, and I filled it. You must accept this." David's eyes filled with tears. "Anna, tell me you don't love me anymore. Tell me, and I will leave forever." I looked at him, the man I once thought I would marry, the man I had cried for, prayed for, waited for. My heart ached, but softly, firmly, I said, "David, I don't love you anymore. I love my husband. I love Michael." His face crumbled. He dropped to his knees, sobbing like a child. My own tears fell, but I didn't move. It was over. The lesson, David eventually left the town, unable to bear the sight of me with Michael. I heard he started a new life in another city. For me, life continued. I had chosen my present over my past, and though the scars of David's absence would always remain, I learned something powerful. Love cannot survive on promises alone. Distance without effort is dangerous. True love is shown not in words, but in actions, in presence, in daily sacrifice. Watch this video to the end, and don't forget to share, like, comment, and subscribe for more interesting stories like this. From Folktale Flame. The lesson of love and loss. He returned from abroad with dreams of forever, but forever had already moved on without him. David's silence. After that Sunday confrontation, David disappeared. Days passed, weeks, and I heard nothing from him. I thought maybe he had gone back abroad, but one evening his cousin stopped me in the market. "Anna, David is in town. He hasn't left. He barely eats. He just stays in his room staring at the walls. You broke him." Her words cut deep. I walked home heavy, guilt gnawing at my chest. Had I been cruel? Had I ended a man's reason to live? That night, I couldn't sleep. The memory of David crying on his knees haunted me. A visit to the past. The next day, against Michael's advice, I went to see David. I found him sitting outside his uncle's house, unshaven, eyes swollen from tears. He looked at me, and his lips trembled. "Anna, why, after everything I did?" I swallowed hard. "David, you left me for 7 years. I waited, I cried, I begged God, but you drifted away. By the time you came back, another man had given me what I needed most, love that stayed." He buried his face in his hands. "I was foolish. I thought money was enough. I thought if I returned rich, I would win you back." I sat beside him. "Love doesn't count years, David. It counts moments. You weren't there with me." Tears rolled down his cheeks. "I lost you, and it's my fault." I placed my hand gently on his shoulder. "Yes, David, but maybe it's also God's way of teaching us." Michael's strength. When I returned home, Michael was waiting. He looked at me quietly before asking, "Did you see him?" "Yes," I whispered. "And what did you feel?" I thought for a long moment. Pity, pain, but not love. That part of me is gone. Michael reached for my hand. That's all I needed to hear. He didn't scold me, didn't question me further. He simply held my hand. That silent strength reminded me why I chose him. David's departure. Weeks later, word spread that David had left the town. This time, not to chase riches, but to find healing. He moved to a different city, took a small job, and slowly tried to rebuild his life. Before leaving, he sent a letter. "Anna, I lost you because I forgot that love is not built in the future. It's built daily, in the present. I pray you find happiness, and I will learn from this pain. Maybe one day I'll love again. Until then, take care. David. I cried as I read it, but not from regret, only from sadness for what might have been. Life with Michael. Years passed. My children grew up. Michael and I built a small but happy home. We didn't have riches, but we had peace. He never let me feel alone, not for a single day. One evening, as we sat on the veranda watching the sunset, Michael asked, "Do you ever wonder what life with David would have been like?" I smiled faintly. Maybe I would have had more money. Maybe I would have traveled abroad. But I know one thing. I would not have had peace. Because love without presence is emptiness. Michael squeezed my hand. Then I'm glad you chose peace. And I truly was. David's new path. 2 years later, I heard that David had married abroad. His new wife was kind, a nurse who helped him heal. They had a son together. I felt relief when I heard the news. Finally, he had found someone to love him the way he needed. Sometimes, life does not give us the love we expect, but it always gives us the love we need, at the right time with the right person. Final reflection. Looking back now, I realize something powerful. David's return taught me that love is not about who makes the biggest promises, but who shows up when it matters. He left me with words, but Michael stayed with actions. David sacrificed for tomorrow, but Michael sacrificed for today. And in the end, it was today that shaped me forever. The lesson for everyone. If you are listening to my story, learn this. Distance is dangerous in love. If you must travel, never let silence grow because silence kills faster than betrayal. Promises are only seeds. Without water, without care, presence, and action, they will never grow into a tree. Choose the one who stays, the one who wipes your tears, not the one who writes you promises from far away. Because in the end, love is not about forever spoken in words. It's about forever lived in actions. Moral of the story: never let dreams of tomorrow blind you from loving in the present. True love is shown daily, not delayed for years. If you've ever waited for someone who never returned, this story will touch your heart deeply. Don't forget to like, share your own experience in the comments, and subscribe for more powerful life stories like this. From Folktale Flame. Thanks for watching.